butter, peanut butter, jelly, ketchup. On this morning's show, dead Hong Kong hamsters.
Yes.
Pete Davidson's Little Willie.
Yes.
Child choking on a dairy leaf.
Yes.
Hot sauce in a condom.
Yes.
Welcome to Fresh Out the Toaster, Episode 5. Enjoy, 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 enjoy.
Welcome! Fresh Out the Toaster.
What up, people?
Episode 5. We've got a really exciting show for everyone today.
So we're trying something new. We're not going to be doing many street interviews, but we're keeping the conversation between us. So please tune in, have some fun, eat some toast, please, because we got a bunch right here. So please join in and sit, tuck in. Kind of fumbled the words there, but you got what I was trying to say.
So, coronavirus is on the come up in Hong Kong. I believe this is Hong Kong, isn't it, Kayla?
Yeah.
It's Hong Kong, and coronavirus spreads through animals apparently. So, in order to prevent the chance of corona, just a chance, it's a preventative measure. They killed 2,000 hamsters, so as not to spread the virus.
It's true. I've personally, because I'm from Hong Kong, so for the past few days, my Facebook feed has just been about hamsters and about people's drawings of
I've seen some nice stuff on Instagram.
Yeah. But apparently now there's also
It's not funny.
It's pretty funny.
now that what were you talking about?
It's quite funny. I mean, the hamsters are quite funny.
Yeah, we'll put some if we might show a hamster meme.
Yeah,
Have you guys seen the hamster meme?
We'll have some hamster memes on the Instagram.
Yeah, we'll put them up after this.
No, R.I.P. the little rodents, because it wasn't just hamsters either, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was guinea pigs. It was
so the 2,000 hamsters also included guinea pigs. Some exotic ones the ones in the desert
oh yeah,
I don't know what they're called,
foreign hamsters.
hopping
hamsters.
farm mouses. And it has been to the point where there's kids who bought a hamster for a house pet last week, and they had to recall the hamster. So there's videos of kids crying on their pet. Basically it's a refund basically, but
A refund on the dead hamsters. It's pretty cool.
Gabriel, why are they killing hamsters specifically over rodents?
I don't know why hamsters specifically. I think it was just seen as a possible.
Yeah, they got positive.
Yeah,
so
right.
that's why they
And the idea is that they spread within the pet shop and
Yeah, I
people
think-
go buy them.
Because I think I have told Kayla before, last year, in November, in China, the mainland, I remember it's Jiangxi province, so the dog is being killed by the staff because the owner is being quarantined in the hotel, so the dog is living at home, and then
Shit.
some stuff just came in and then just use the stick beat the dog, and then
So you're quarantined, you get home and you find your dead dog.
yeah,
That's quite interesting.
so yeah, I think there's no article that the pets will spread the COVID, but I don't know why those people are so stupid, they believe that those animals will spread the COVID, so then they just kill those animals.
I think the whole reason why this started was that they did find maybe the very first case in the whole world where a hamster in Hong Kong caught COVID. But the weirdest thing is how they've given up all the hamsters, send them to the gallows without actually maybe just quarantining the pet shops would actually resolve the whole thing. I think everyone in Hong Kong is just super angry, and there's been efforts of arranging volunteers to take in the hamsters and make sure they're well taken care of.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been sad, but yeah.
I feel the Chinese government to their, how do you say that in English again, to kind of not excuse them, but it's kind of oh no, I mean to their just to kind of excuse their behavior in a way. Yeah, to their credit, they've
you guys have like the pandemic started there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of pressure. Like, the whole world is watching you. There's so much like racism involved, so much like trade and like money, and like it might be extreme, but I get why they're stressed about it.
Yeah, but at what point do we start considering forfeiting lives in order to protect people? You know, it's like I don't know if it was a rumor or not, but someone in Korea caught COVID and they killed him. You know, the first person to catch it. It's like, I see the point, but
Is
the
it in
moment,
South Korea?
yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
no, sorry. I
In
mean,
North Korea,
no,
but
North Korea.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
sorry.
But
in
the
North
point is,
Korea.
like, I get it's hamsters, I get, but it's like, does forfeiting a life in order to save people
I
make
mean,
it right?
if you're forfeiting 2,000 hamsters' lives to prevent 20,000 people, imagine 2 million people getting infected, and of those, 100,000 people die. I mean, it is, on paper, absolutely the right thing to do. And like, it does spread through hamsters. That coronavirus is like, it started from bats now. It started from animals and it spread to humans. It spreads within animals, and it's really dangerous for COVID to get into animals like bats again, because within bats, then it grows and it changes, it mutates, and then passes back to
Yeah.
humans.
Yeah, I think the reason why they killed those animals is because like the government don't want to take the responsibility.
Yeah,
You know.
it's an easy solution.
Yeah, just kill them.
right?
That's all. Yeah.
Probably the cheapest option to protect.
Yeah, the cheapest and
people.
easiest way to solve this problem. Yeah.
Unfortunately, they have done a similar thing. I don't know if you remember, in 2020, it happened in Denmark as well. There was a bunch, like, it was like a mink farm.
Yeah.
And I think a few of them they killed like all the minks. It was a lot of
Oh.
minks.
Isn't that like the kind of decision the government should like either like pass a law or like get like the Senate or like the Parliament
stuff like
to
that
decide?
takes time. It's like it's an instant reaction, isn't it?
It's an
If you
instant
wait on
reaction,
that,
but
it
there's
spreads.
rules as well. Like,
Yeah.
how do you like cross over all the rules because of COVID,
Mm.
and you like start making decisions because you want it to happen? Do you know what I mean? Like, was it a group decision? It's weird.
Fuck the hamster killers.
Rest in peace, hamsters. We'll always remember you.
Rest in squeaks. Where is the
This
bit?
is from Vice.com. Zuckerberg's metaverse is screwed if it doesn't allow sex. Lasting virtual worlds of the last 30 years have included sex, something Facebook has almost entirely banned. That's interesting. I think that kind of feeds off that Tumblr conversation we
Wait.
had. But yeah, Tumblr banned porn and the whole fucking site went downhill, didn't it? I can't imagine a metaverse where it's like at that level of censorship. Do you know what I mean?
I think when like all kinds of internet platforms or like social media kind of platforms get to a certain size, they'll start cut down everything. And I remember a phrase which was to make everything Disney, like everything safe like Disneyland. Sterile, yeah. So
I think often
Yeah.
in
As you said he's aiming to institute an almost Disney level of safety.
yeah, often when they cut that chaff out, they can't be selective. Like a lot of those, if they cut out all the porn accounts, you're losing like a massive portion of the people that made the site that made the community the community. It's kind of just saying fuck off just because you don't agree with their content.
Yeah, I think it's like is interesting because they're trying to make a parallel universe, like a parallel digital universe. But I mean, there was a sentence in that really defined it. But it's like, how are you making a parallel universe? Are you removing something that is like so embedded in like human culture? Like, we speak about sex every single day, and it doesn't have to be like a gross thing, but like it's there, like it's everywhere. Also, I don't know. I think it's weird. Like, I think the metaverse is gonna be so shit if they don't include sex, or if they don't allow people to customize like every part of their body. I think, like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
there's this quote from the article that is, the whole beauty of the metaphors is the chance to step outside of our human bodies and real world identities we choose or, depending on circumstances, are forced to live in. I think that's like, that really strikes a chord. Yeah, what do you guys think?
I don't know. Personally, I think I'm kind of happy about it. You know, like, it gives people more of a reason to stick within the real world because they're not gonna be looking for like virtual.
That's
You know,
a really good point.
You really cannot make look, the metaverse may seem cool to some people, not to me personally, but that's just me. But like, the moment you start sticking everything that we have within real life into a virtual world, it's like it's all artificial. Why not look for the real thing? You know, I get some people. It might not be available for some people, which is what is that? But it may not be available for some people, and I understand. You know, some people are just unable to do so, and I do feel for them. But then again, it encourages you to live life more. You know, within reality, not something that Mark Zuckerberg made.
It does remind me of Blade Runner, like the newest film where like the main character has this virtual girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it does remind me of that. It's like really dystopian, like how it's gonna work out, and it would be cool like if I was to see how it would work out. And there is like in Japan there are like very similar projects where there's like an Oculus Rift VR sort of 18 plus content, but I'm guessing based on Mark's personality, I'm not sure how it would plan out for sure.
And even then, in like Blade Runner, the technology is AI, right? So to some extent, it's life. But this is all, you know, numbers is coded.
Yeah.
So you're really just exchanging a real intimate thing with something that someone had to create, and that's.
I guess my only point would be is like with the intention of the metaverse is that everyone participates in it. That all our social stuff is on the metaverse. And if you can imagine, like, I don't know, you're 16, 17, and your life is on metaverse, your friends, everything, like, you're not being introduced to sex. You're not being introduced to, like, shit outside of the Disney norm. They wouldn't actually know that shit.
I think it's a great point. I think what Facebook is doing is, like, demonizing, sex. That's what they did with nipples. Like, they've removed women's nipples. They've, like, blocked people's accounts because of nipples, and we had to fight so much for like women's nipples to show up on Instagram and Facebook. Exactly, free the nipple. But it's like
Free the nipple.
It's one of those things, where you're on the metaverse. You can, instead of demonizing sex, you can teach people about it. You can make it like a beautiful thing. You can like regulate porn as well. Like, porn is a fucked up industry. Like, we can talk about it as well, but sex is not bad. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what, like, I don't want kids to go on the metaverse and like literally like spend their whole day there, years and years, and like they come out of it and they don't know shit about shit. Do you know what I mean?
I remember the Black Mirror. There's an episode called Striking Vapors. So basically, it just talk about like two men, like they're best friends, and then they fall in love in that virtual game. Like,
I do remember that.
Yeah, so like they cannot like find who they are, like actually they're gay, you know. So yeah, it's quite interesting, you know. They fall in uncased in that game. Yeah.
I do think that's
Yo, did anyone have
They
a
are.
Movie Star Planet girlfriend by any chance? Because I had one. Did
What
anyone
was
have
it?
like a girlfriend on Movie Star Planet? Because I did, or like, you know, Club Penguin or anything. It's just me. I hadn't. No, what's up?
Do you guys?
Who was this girl that you met on Movie Star Planet?
I don't know her.
You never met her?
I don't know her.
How would you define it as a girlfriend though? Was it like ongoing?
No, Jesus. Like,
Okay.
you're 8 and you say,
Oh, I see.
yeah, you basically. You
I
know.
was thinking like, oh no.
You thought I fell in love with like a 50-year-old man type thing.
Ruben's an early starter.
Yeah.
That was an example, but like,
See, without that, like,
Mhm.
you know, that's not going to be in the metaverse. The chance to meet your 50-year-old girlfriend.
yeah, but like, imagine.
But I think like what Kucha said earlier was like a really great point. I think when we think of sex, like the first impression is always really negative, especially like when our mom and dad like warns us about like certain things, and there's definitely like super weird ass content out there. But maybe Metaverse is an opportunity to start fresh, to start clean, and to educate sex in a positive way. So yeah.
Before we move to the other topic, I just want to like share that meme. Yeah.
What about the
I
mummy
don't know.
milkers,
That would be
man?
cool if we could do that. If I could like give myself some big ass boobs.
So I think next up is me. I'm sharing an article called "Please Stop Putting Hell Money Next to Chinese Dishes," and I'll explain everything, and you guys give me your true thoughts. So many were aghast after seeing the Guardian's website use joss paper, an offering traditionally burnt for deities and the dead, as a prop in a food recipe for Lunar New Year. I'll try to explain it. So like Lunar New Year or like Chinese New Year is like this as equal to Christmas in Asian countries. So it's like as big as Christmas, and it's supposed for you to like celebrate with your families for like good luck for the upcoming year. But apparently if you zoom in on the picture, there's this recipe on the Guardian for pork and crab dumplings with spicy sour sauce, and you see like the paper next to it with like the coins and stuff. They are something called joss paper, which are in Chinese culture paper money you burn to like your deceased relatives or family. Yeah, exactly, like you burn that in the funeral. So lots of people are like super stunned to see it. So there's this tweet from Vivian Chow: "Too stunned to see this in Guardian Lunar New Year recipes. You most definitely do not pair Chinese New Year dish with joss paper, which means hell money you burn for the dead. You do not talk about death in a new year." So that's been a pretty big ripple recently.
It's like people having such they don't know what it is and they don't care. They
Yeah.
just see like, you know, Asian characters on it. and
But
they
you
just put it
can't
in it.
excuse it, because it's like if you're gonna make a dumpling thing, you should have at least one person in
Yeah.
your team
It
that's
just shows-
Asian,
yeah, it
and that will
shows
do
them
it,
that-
and that will tell you this is fucked up, don't do that.
It's like
And
if you
that's
had-
because the teams are all like homogenous.
You're in like back at home, like how did your family use joss paper? Like, do you have this?
It's for Qingming, like
Yeah.
festival, like only, you know, for memorize
Yeah.
your, you know, the friends or family like pass away, you know.
Yeah, there is this other festival called, how should we translate it? Like, yeah, this
Yeah.
festival, which is typically like
For
in like, is it April or something?
yeah, in
Like-
spring, yeah.
Yeah, in spring, where there's this 1-day festival where everyone sort of brings offering to the graves of your deceased family, like your grandpa, for example, and you would bring oranges, you would bring like a roast
yeah.
duck,
Yeah.
and you would, my family would eat it afterwards, like after giving like, here's the roast duck, and then like, okay, let's put some mustard in it, and let's like eat it all, like let's not waste it, and like flowers. And then do you have this like big furnace where like it's like just fire burning inside,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
just like
We have, yeah.
toss paper in it?
Yeah.
Was there any like response from the Guardian? It was the Guardian, right? Like I think, in a way, like everyone fucks up eventually, but like what really matters is how you respond to it.
Yeah. So they did say, when contacted by Vice, the Guardian pointed to a footnote that was appended to the article, that the image has been amended and we apologize for this cultural error.
I have
So,
a question. How does it make you guys feel to see that?
Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
Okay. I honestly felt like it was so weird. It felt like it was funny to an extent, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a metaphor. It's basically like seeing. Yeah, it's basically a bit like seeing a picnic blanket right beside a gravestone.
Christmas in a hearse. Father Christmas in a hearse, that's what it is. Like the car that drives you to your funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like try imagine something like Christmassy with something like, if you can think of like a metaphor.
A coffin.
Yeah, like Christmas coffin and a Christmas, a coffin with a Christmas tree on it.
Yeah. I think feel the same. Like I'm not angry or feel respected because I think it's about the cultural like barrier. So I just found it's quite funny and weird, honestly.
So I just have to say, and I don't want to like trigger angriness in you. It's not a cultural barrier. It's like people not doing their job properly. And as I said, it's the lack of representation. It's the lack of like, if you want to talk about culture, but you don't even have like the culture in your team or people to like review your work, that's on you. Like that's like a conscious error. Do you know what I mean?
I do feel like in the end it feels like cultural appropriation, because if you continue scrolling down this article, you'll see another one by BBC Food. It's the one with like fried noodles with scallops and tender stem broccoli recipe, and you see that envelope right on the right. So I feel like they've nearly missed this one, but it's tricky because these are like red packets where in Chinese New Year your mom or like your elderly relatives gives you like pocket money in these envelopes, but here these envelopes are used at the funeral, handed out to those who came to pay tribute to the dead. And it just makes me feel like they just went to like the nearest Chinatown and was like, do you have any like red envelopes? So really nice call out to like all these interesting food recipes. But yeah, definitely just don't take any random shit and like claim it as like it being really culturally interesting.
Like they made the like if they're trying to make the effort to appeal to a certain demographic, they have to do the research. Like Kucha said, I'm not like, I know it's not my culture, but I can, as a black man, I can relate to that whole aspect of someone taking your culture and not giving it the correct respect, you know. So when I see this, it's like if you're gonna try, at least try it, you know. Don't just like do it for the looks of it all, because like to someone like me, I'm not gonna see how it's culturally inappropriate, because I'm not like within the culture. But to you guys who are actually part of this culture, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be weird, you know. It's gonna be a Father Christmas with a hearse, like you guys said. So yeah, if you're gonna make the effort, at least do it properly.
No more hell money. Bye.
No more cultural appropriation in 2022.
More people of color. I hate that word so much, but more, you know, people of color in these places, please.
BIPOC or BAME. Not very nice. BAME's like, yeah.
Right.
You know what's crazy for me? When white people say people of color in like a predominantly ethnic background.
What I find crazy when I'm told what to say by white people, that I'm not allowed to say the N word by white people.
You know what's crazy, yo?
What about if a black person tell you not to say the N word?
That's different, and I've had that. I understand that, and that's why I don't say the N word all the time. But I've had white people come up to me like, it makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, I didn't ask if it makes you uncomfortable.
I personally think
it's not for you.
If I was like dark skinned and I saw someone as light as me be like, no, I would be like, relax. Like, you don't have to claim that too much. Do you know what I mean?
I guess it's different as well because I am relatively light skinned. I'm mixed. You know, I mean, I don't pass for white, but I'm closer. I don't at all.
Speaking as the dark skin representative, I just want to say that then I have a really weird relationship with the N-word, you know. Like, I used to say it bears when I was younger, but now it's just like that thing that I feel like is either forcing it because I know the history behind the word. I feel like it's a very, very American thing to use it so many times, like within your speech, but like it's so American, you know. But now, like as I'm becoming old, I'm just seeing like, hey, you know, I can just call you my guys. That's cool, you know. Like it's so much history behind the word, you know. I feel like if I'm gonna be uncomfortable with a white person saying that to me, then I should carry the same energy, you know. But that's not to say that like no other black person can say it, but it's just for me personally, you know. Because I've had that instance where like I have a white friend say it, like getting too comfortable. I'm just like, did I cause that by saying that around you? You know,
I feel uncomfortable when white people call me G. You know?
What does G mean?
You know, it's a word that I would use between me and my dad. My dad would call me G. I'd be like, what's up, G?
Yeah.
You know, G. Don't know.
Okay,
Gabriel.
okay. I had no idea. I had no idea, and like
gangster, I guess.
it's very uncomfortable.
What's up, G? Like,
oh no, it's not cool.
I've mates that can, you know, it's one thing, but when I hear white people call each other G, I don't know. That's not really our word. It does stand for Gabriel, but it's not really my word.
It's just a bit like anything, like when a white person refers like gangs and like, oh that's gang, or like I don't know. It's just corny.
No,
it's
I've
just
always
awkward,
felt
man.
like I get spoken to quite. Maybe it's my age, but I was in like a lot of workplaces where I was the youngest, and everyone else would be called like, "Hey man," or like I just had a different word assigned to me. Do you know what I mean? Like dude, or I don't know. I felt like a separation. I'm also incredibly paranoid, but like I sense those things. I feel like a lot of people like white people, they'll step into the room and be like, they go through a little bit of a crisis in their head. Because like half of them do want to say the N-word to you, so they gotta like scale it back.
Wait, you said
that was a joke, but I feel like white people get uncomfortable, and it makes me uncomfortable, which I don't like. You know, I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just I'm not of the same background, but like if someone looks at you quite embarrassingly, you kind of feel the same way.
What did you say? You're incredibly... Yeah. Are you paranoid, or do you sense things that you can't really address because it would make everyone feel uncomfortable?
That's kind of the crux of it. Like, what portion of it is paranoia? What portion of it is me actually looking after myself and being alert? I feel like, not that I live in that's not a good way to look at it, that I live in an enemy state, but I am a minority. If you're a minority, like you're going against the majority, so you have to have a certain awareness around yourself. But I also am aware I am a paranoid person by nature.
I think that's just how it feels to be a minority living in the UK. You know?
You
like
have to have a certain level of paranoia.
They love to brush it under the rug.
It gets passed down.
Nothing's going down. Like nothing's going on. Like
Yeah.
they will say to your face, "There's no racism." Look at what happened with Stormzy, right? He said, "Look, of course there's racism in the UK." People went on him, and it was so ironic. Like, oh, if you don't like it here, go back to your own country. Of course, there's no racism in the UK. Like, but we're forced to like pretend like it doesn't exist.
I think even outside of there being racism and not being racism, that paranoia is really interesting to me, because it's like it's compounded. You know, if your parents are paranoid, they pass that down, and you know, if they come from a time where it was really bad, it was like really dangerous to be black. Like, it's natural that they're going to teach your kids that, you know, keep yourself fucking to
but
yourself.
I think one thing is quite interesting that I have been here like for 2 years, but I didn't mean you guys, but for here like 2 years, like all the recent experience I have been experienced are all like black people, you know. They really discriminate against Asians. I don't know why, so ironic. Like, because like black people hate being discriminated against by, you know, white people, and then they started to discriminate against Asians, you know.
No, I know black people personally that they've been through that shit. They've been through racism, and rather than like have it, you know, give them any empathy for like another group, they carry on that shit. It's a sickness. Like, that toxicity actually carries on.
I think there's a lack of logic. I think the Asian community also is racist towards black people sometimes.
Yeah, minorities get mixed into it with each other all the fucking time.
But I think like the mistake black people do is like they forget that like it's happened to them. Like they reciprocate their energy. They're like, if you're gonna give me that energy, I'll give it the same to you, instead of like trying to like evolve all together. Break the cycle. Like when there was so much racism towards like Chinese people and anyone that remotely looked like a little bit Chinese. And black people participated, and a lot of arguments from them was like, yeah, but they're racist too, like they do this to us as well. Like, it's such a dumb argument. Like, Yurin, do you want to speak about your subject?
The last topic, it's from a Chinese creative coder and designer. Like, she's trying to exploring the relationship between to algorithm, like, and how they are impacting the society and cultural behaviors. So basically, she just found it's quite interesting. We kind of like go back to the topic. Like, she found that the lack of sex education in China. So like, she found it's quite hard to being taught properly about sex. So then she tried to use the algorithm model, like, to build those like AI porn. So also she found Chinese is beautiful, so like she kind of like applied the Chinese in that project. Yeah, so it's about like kind of like an imagination about sex, her imagination. Yeah.
I'm looking into like, you know, like this image is made up of all mainly Chinese words and some Japanese, and I'm reading in that line, which I think was how this image got generated, was I'm gonna try translate it. Every 100, like in 100 years, we have the same laughter.
Was that what she said?
On the words
in
black,
Chinese,
like they're laughing with and drinking wine. They're blowing the flute with the wind, and the dress gets dyed with the redness of a pomegranate fruit. So that sounds strangely poetic, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a portrait now.
Well, do you know if that was like a randomly generated sentence, or was it like from a poetic thing?
Also, it's funny because some of the characters actually look like phallus. Can you go down, Aaron, please? So that no, not phallus actually. That looks like butt cheeks.
Yeah.
And that looks like boobs.
Yeah.
It's funny. You said that she used this to teach herself, like to teach herself, or like to like kind of like visualize what sex means to her.
Yeah, visualize what sex means to her, because like she saw like this project's called Sescentic Eros. It's a project like which the technical aspect is very much intertwined with the conceptual element. So as this core, like she wants to challenge the lack of sex education in her childhood.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically that's it. And she thinks like sex is a cultural taboo. Like she wasn't like exposed to proper sex education from school. So
it's interesting because like I don't think I've been introduced to sex properly neither. Even though it wasn't as much of a taboo, I think, than it is like in China. I think we had like people come into school and tell us, oh, if you masturbate, that's okay, and if you do this, but still I was like, I had no idea what sex was really.
Yes. Also, like she found out, like she realized what sex is from somewhere else, you know.
Somewhere else.
It's somewhere else, yeah. Like not in a proper way, yeah. And also like she's kind of inspired by the Preaching dynasty, is a Chinese Asian dynasty.
Okay.
And also like the Edo period, like in Japan. So like where erotic art flourished. So that's her inspiration for this project.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think what's also beautiful about this is that it's sort of like understanding sex again, but from a child's or like an innocent point of view, because imagine like AI as a learning machine that it knows nothing about sex. So all of these images are like, they're provocative but they don't seem gross, and maybe that's like, maybe it links to the metaverse thing as well. Was like, what
about
if
AI
was learning about sex, and then this connotation becomes something much more personal
Mhm.
and intimate instead of it being like without it being like
Yeah.
the modern definition of porn maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, this has me thinking a lot about that movie, Her, by Spike Jonze, where this guy falls in love with an AI. You know. Yeah, he ends up falling in love with her, and I found it a really beautiful movie. But it's also got me thinking. Sorry, just got a bit distracted. Yeah, it got me thinking a bit about how we're gonna be teaching people in the future about sex. You know, like, is it gonna be a situation where we're relying on humans to do that, or are we gonna be relying on AI? You know. Yep, that's it. It's a really great film.
Come on, an AI don't know.
I
Like
mean,
a AI can pretend it knows. It will never know. Like, and also an AI is gonna be like, okay, a lot of algorithm, but like unless everyone puts their own information in that AI like system, everyone puts their data, they will never have an accurate like explanation like what is sex.
let's go with like the science fiction version of AI. You know, where they're fully intelligent. They're basically us, except without a corporeal form. Would that basically like make them less capable of explaining something so intimate? You know, I mean,
think
I
yeah, like like it would be like they would have all the information, they can describe it perfectly, but maybe it's a bit of that bit of a leap in like the controversy of AI is that would it ever experience emotion or any sort of bodily feeling, and I guess maybe it could describe it perfectly, but then it would never be able to actually experience the actual thing.
So does that just make sex an inherently human thing to do? You know, I mean, animals have sex, yes, but it's like only a few of them have it like based on the intimacy level that people do. You know, so most of the time it's for procreation, but like to my knowledge, dolphins have sex, bonobos have sex based on intimacy. Oh, Aaron's dancing. He telling us to finish.
Bonobos don't have sex. I mean, they do have sex to make up after an argument, but it's more of a social thing, and also they have sex for pleasure like us. But we have sex for like so much more reasons. Like it goes beyond so much, and like I feel like an AI could never really grasp that. Like I don't know, those like little experiences where you have sex and this happens and like this and like it's so personal and like
maybe on a human level, but like what if two AIs fall in love with each other, you know, and they have sex?
well,
That'd be like completely different to us, but we can't necessarily say that.
can an AI poop?
I mean, it's not human. Maybe it can in an AI way, but
Well, no. If an AI can't poop, then to me an AI can't understand sex. And I'm not gonna explain why.
I think it makes sense though. Yeah.
I think we're about to wrap up. So it has been really nice chatting with you guys today. It was really fun. Should I leave my
Answer.
fan fiction choice in the end? I would choose The Weeknd, because I would like to see Donda remix with Blinding Lights. There I go.
And on this beautiful note, I'm gonna sing the ABC. And before that, I just wanted to do a quick shout out, but a massive one for Kayla and her new book, her new comics book. I thought that was gonna be on the screen, but it's not. Yeah, Kayla, do you want to talk about your book real quick?
Thanks, guys. So I just published my comic book last week called Dai Feng Restaurant.
You're gonna be traumatized, yeah.
I'm shy, guys. So basically, it's this horror story on what happens in a Chinese restaurant where everything goes wrong, and there are waiters with star heads, but in general, it's a feverish nightmare, really. But you can order one on my website, but yeah, we'll put the link down there, or just DM me on Instagram, Kayla s3x.
Alright, some more cheers for Kayla one more time.
Woo,
Let's
woo,
go.
woo, woo,
Woo!
woo, woo, woo. And I've started the book, and I can tell you it is an experience.
But now let's go to the outro, guys. You ready?
A B C D E F G H E.
What's going on?
Oh,
Remix it,
remix. I'll do it in French. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P U R S T U V.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. Follow us on Instagram at Fresh Out the Toaster.
Let that groove right, let that groove right, let that groove right, let that groove right. And now, So Tired Blues by Langston Hughes. With the sun in my hand, gonna throw the sun way across the land. 'Cause I'm tired, tired as I can be.